Good Morning Liberty.
Well, what is up, all of our liberty-loving friends? This is another fantastic episode of Good Morning Liberty. My name is Nate Thurston. Across from me is Mr. Charles Chuck Thompson, coming at you on a beautiful Friday afternoon here in Nashville, Tennessee.
Chuck C.D. Lamb, Thompson.
Yeah, you got your C.D. Lamb jersey on right now.
It's a nice little birthday present.
Yeah.
From the lady.
Just in time for him to...
She noticed my Witten jersey was a little worn out. And decided to get me a new one. Now, according to the timeline, it appears that she did make the purchase prior to the Cowboys game last Sunday, which explains why C.D. Lamb was hurt on like the first play.
Yeah. That's what happens,
It's the
man.
curse of me.
Yes, it's your fault.
It's my fault.
It's not my fault anymore. It's officially your fault. Okay, it's Friday.
Anyway.
It's Friday. It's Dumb Bleep of the Week. That's where we go through the dumbest things that we saw over the week. Yesterday was Charlie's birthday. Make sure you go and listen to the second half of yesterday's episode if you haven't already. Watch it on YouTube.
Ridiculous.
Actually, so you can see all the glorious photos that I brought yesterday. So that being said, we went out for Charlie's birthday last night and partied hard last night, harder than I have partied in years.
Got home about 9:05.
Yeah. Must have been nice
PM.
being so close to Franklin. I didn't go home till like 9:30 last night.
Oh, God.
It was crazy.
Did you make it to bed?
Yeah, I mean, it was a rough night. We loaded the dishwasher, hardly had time to do that, and then went straight to bed. So I'm telling you that because typically Thursday nights are when I put together Dumb Bleep of the Week. And this one, I didn't have 2 days or, a night and a day to put this together. Just right now, we have 8 submissions, possibly 2 in reserve if we can ever stop talking and actually get to the actual Dumb
It turns
Bleeps.
out that's probably plenty.
8's enough.
Based on our previous history of episodes, I think last week we did 2 hours. Almost 2 hours.
Close to 2 hours last week, yeah.
And that was just, we had 13 of them. That's too many.
Yeah. It'll be enough. I guarantee you, well, I don't guarantee you. We'll look back at the tape and see, but 30 minutes into this episode, we'll probably still be on Dumb Bleep number 3, I bet. And we have 8.
Let's start.
So let's get going here. Let me pull this up here. Oh, James Comey, former FBI director. He's been indicted. Okay, that's not what the actual dumb thing is here. Just so you guys know, it's some of the reaction to it, and in fact, some of Comey's reaction to it. Now, on the broader thing here, like I guess this is just what we're going to do these days. It's going to happen, and I guess that's fine. I generally think most people in government eventually do something that deserves some prison time. So I'm not going to shed a tear over...
Let's arrest all of them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to shed a tear over it or anything.
What's funny is, though, what I can tell you is that we predicted this. So we can tell you back when they first decided to arrest Trump, that this was going to happen now.
Of course.
This is just going to be a normal thing.
They broke the seal.
Yeah, exactly. They're the ones who started it. And I guarantee you, Republicans and Democrats are now going to play this game every time someone's in power. They're going to... By the way, I think I read part of the indictment. It's not going to do anything. The whole win was just them announcing this. That's it.
It's about it.
Like it's, a page and a half of an affidavit that's like basically nothing.
He lied in a testimony, although I think he might end up having an out on the lie. We'll see. But it looks like he lied. And then in that lie, they're saying was also obstruction since he lied about something in an investigation. So But
it could also be that he has immunity.
Yeah.
If he was in official government capacity.
Could be potentially. Well, the other thing, here's what's actually going to happen. Like, we think that this is going to keep being a thing, but Biden and his administration really set the 2 big precedents here. One, they went after Trump. And they went after a lot of other people in the Trump administration and in the Trump sphere. And then 2, they handed down tons of pardons, like preemptive pardons for people, gave a bunch of people immunity for any crimes that they committed, like back to 2014, on the way out the door. And so this is sort of a new thing. Both of those things were sort of new things, sort of unprecedented at that time. But now they're not anymore. And so now the Trump administration is going after former officials. And my prediction will be, which is not a crazy prediction, that at the end of Trump's administration, they will hand out pardons to everyone in Trump's administration, every single person for any potential crime that they might have committed. And then what you'll find is, well, I guess we can't go after like the next person who comes in. I guess we can't go after the Trump administration now because
just be pardoned.
They're all immune to everything because they've all been pardoned. And then the next administration will do that. And so that's probably a way that we're going to get out of this continuously going after the people in the previous administration using the Department of Justice. But also it's a way that we're going to have people doing lawless stuff all the time because they're just going to get a pardon at the end of the term. And that's not a great precedent to set either, but it's where we are. That's the next logical evolution of this whole cycle that we're in right now.
God.
You know?
So much fun.
Yeah, and that's the sort of how this whole thing devolves, you know, to I don't know where we're going to end up.
What I love, though, is that now we're in a fascist dictatorship. Not before whenever other administrations were going after political opponents. Nope. Because that was justified, of course.
Because he did something wrong.
Yeah. But now we live in a fascist dictatorship. By the way, as we've said before many times in the show, America leans towards a fascist economic style of government anyway. And it has for a long time. So this is nothing technically new. It's just annoying. That's why it's made a dumb bleep of the week.
Yeah, so let's go.
It's number one.
Let's go through some of the dumbs here. The Wall Street Journal, they've got a lot of play on this post right here. Almost 3 million views as of last time I looked at it. Justice Department officials are racing to obtain criminal charges this week against former FBI Director James Comey, escalating President Trump's unprecedented efforts to prosecute his political foes.
Unprecedented.
There's literally no precedent for this at all, which is why that we have this picture right here, which is all of the people that the last administration went after in the previous administration.
Yep. Some of which served jail time.
Yeah. Navarro and Bannon. Did they both do like 4 months? I'm pretty sure.
And his lawyer, Michael.
I don't know if. Yeah, I know who you're talking about right now. And then we have this. We have this post right here. Saw this going around. It's a whole bunch of people on the left saying no one is above the law. People like Joe Biden, J.B. Pritzker, Amy Klobuchar, Mark Hamill, Jamal Bowman, Chuck Schumer. All these people, no one is above the law, and that's back when they were going after Trump. And you know, there's just I don't know if it's like there's definite hypocrisy here because you say no one is above the law, and the guy seems to be on tape. I'll show you the tape. He seems to be on tape perjuring himself. And another thing that's really frustrating about this whole situation to me is like we know about this ridiculous Russiagate hoax, right? Like, we know about all this ridiculous stuff that happened. And it's like, and so like we want revenge for that, or we want accountability for that, but you never get accountability for like the things that actually matter where people in government did like downright dirty, disgusting, awful things. It's always like, well, yeah, but then they said this word and then they should have said that one and that was technically perjury. And so, you know, we'll go after them, but they never get accountability for the things that they're doing like in their office, in their official capacity.
Yeah, like spying on presidential campaigns.
Yeah, stuff like that, you know? Like
generating fake dossiers.
Because they'll come out and they say, well, you know, we were following our official procedures that we had at the time, so acting in my capacity as the director of the FBI, I just followed what we, the FBI, have written down in this book right here that we're supposed to do, and then that's it. And, like, you never get to go after people for, like, the actual terrible things that they did. And so that's the annoying part about it. You always have to settle for some ticky-tack, like speeding ticket thing for people where it's like perjury. Like, who was harmed by this? Even the thing about the perjury is like, it doesn't even matter. It's like, did you leak information to someone so they would, or did you have someone leak information to reporters to put out there in the media? And I'm like, Like, who cares? I don't care about this.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want him in prison because he lied about leaking or having someone leak information to the media.
Even with Trump, they got him on an unprecedented technicality of a inflated real estate deal.
Yeah, that was one thing they got him on, or like a campaign finance thing that they got Trump on that was questionable at best because the statute of limitations had passed and they found a way to bump it up to like a felony basically, and so it was. Yeah, it's like it's never the thing that people need to go down for, that they go down for, which means you never set a precedent that if you do this terrible thing, you're going to go down for it. It's always like, oh, you can do the terrible thing, you just have to find a better way to lie about it afterwards. And that's like the precedent that you set. Just be a better liar or cover your tracks better as this person is the precedent that we set in the government. So, by the way, who thinks that we should go after people that lie to Congress? James Comey thinks that we should go after people who lie to Congress. And so,
with an iron fist.
Yes, go after them with an iron fist. And so I'll play this. This was on January 21st, 2021, the day after Joe Biden was inaugurated. And so let's play. We'll just go with whatever he says here.
The entire justice enterprise in the United States depends upon an honor system. It depends upon people when they raise their right hands in a courtroom or when they speak to an investigator at a doorway or in an office building. It depends upon them telling the truth. It depends upon them abiding a promise they made to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. And we are long past the days when that oath was backed in most people by a fear of going to hell. And so it turns out it's an honor system. To get information, to be able to find the truth, and the truth is a real thing. There are facts, there are things in this life that are verifiable or falsifiable. The entire justice system is built around the notion that the truth can be found to a high degree of confidence. But to find it, you have to count on people to tell it to you. And because they might fear to tell it to you or be motivated by greed or other human flaws not to tell it to you, when you encounter a situation where someone has not told you the truth, as a federal employee, as a Department of Justice lawyer, or an investigator, you must pursue that aggressively to send a message to the others who might follow and raise their right hand or speak to an investigating agent that they will be incentivized to tell the truth, maybe not by fear of going to hell any longer, but by fear of going to jail or being ruined. That honor system has to be enforced with an iron fist so the system will work.
Maybe by going to jail or going to, dang it, what did he say?
Hell?
No, not hell. He said jail or ruined.
Yeah, or either one. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you either got to send these people to jail or you just got to ruin them.
So, yeah. So, like, just to be clear here, he said it was very important. And the reason he's doing this, he's talking about this, like on the first day of Biden's administration, of course, they're pushing to go after all the people in the previous administration who lied about anything. And, you know, January 6th that just happened and the election, you know, supposed misinformation and all this stuff had just happened. And, of course, they're going to go after these people and they're going to get them on stuff even if it's perjury. You know, or they should. He's not talking in the, you know, official capacity at that time, but he's just talking on the news. So, you know, maybe he's correct about that. And I believe this is the video of him perjuring himself. Let's get that right fast.
Director Comey, have you ever been an anonymous source in news reports about matters relating to the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
Never.
Have you ever authorized someone else at the FBI to be an anonymous source in news reports about the Trump investigation or the Clinton investigation?
No. I needed to get that out into the public square. And so I asked a friend of mine to share the content of the memo with a reporter. Didn't do it myself for a variety of reasons, but I asked him to because I thought that might prompt the appointment of a special counsel.
Okay, so he, you know, kind of said that he did ask a friend of his. Now, the friend of his, this is where I wonder what
was the friend of his in the FBI?
So the friend of his was hired as a special government employee for the FBI, essentially so he could talk to his friend about the stuff. Like, it was a guy known for a long time. He had known for a long time. Guy's name
like
was,
if I got in government, I just hired you.
Yeah, you just hired me as a special government employee. Like,
so we could talk.
Yeah, so I could be so you could tell me some classified information or important information, and eventually you're like, oh, hey, and I can't do this, but here's this, and you should take it to that guy over there at the New York Times and give it to them. And so what I'm wondering, and I'm sure they've looked into this, I'm sure that, that my first wonder is like, is a special government employee, even if they're, working for someone in the FBI or whatever, like, is there, when they said someone at the FBI, is it going to count, essentially, this person? That's my question. And I'm sure they've thought through this already. Or they haven't, and they're just doing this indictment like as a show to make people happy and feel like they're going after people. I don't know. Let's see. Comey had a response. Here's his response.
My family and I have known for years that there are costs to standing up to Donald Trump. But we couldn't imagine ourselves living any other way. We will not live on our knees, and you shouldn't either. Somebody that I love dearly recently said that fear is the tool of a tyrant, and she's right. But I'm not afraid, and I hope you're not either. I hope instead you are engaged, you are paying attention, and you will vote like your beloved country depends upon it, which it does.
So I can get pardoned.
My heart is broken for the Department of Justice, but I have great confidence in the federal judicial system, and I'm innocent. So let's have a trial and keep the faith.
Okay. I'm inspired.
That was same beliefs back when he was the director working for the Biden administration. Same beliefs.
I am inspired right now. So overall, the dumb of this, couple things. Well, the main dumb is the unprecedented nature of going after your political opponents. And there's going to be a couple dumbs in here which just like, don't let Democrats get away with this kind of BS. Just don't. Like, you can make arguments that you don't think we should do this kind of stuff or whatever, but don't let them come up there and gaslight people and act like Trump is breaking the norms right now. Because the Biden administration, that was a pretty weird 4 years that we had. Okay, so I don't want to.
Well, not only that, I mean, the biggest thing they were doing was just trying to tie him up as many lawsuits as possible to stop him from campaigning.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's an interference with an election.
I think they thought that the fact he had been indicted would hurt him with people. I mean, there was a time like back in the 90s.
We predicted it would make it better.
Yeah, back in the 90s or in the early 2000s or something like that, like going through the kind of trials or charges and all that stuff that they were charging Trump with. I mean, that would have destroyed you. You would have just dropped out. There's no way you would have ran for anything. You would have been done after that. And then they probably would have dropped cases afterwards because that's all they wanted was for you to not run, because it probably was election interference. And I don't think it worked out the way they thought. In fact, I'm not entirely sure Trump wins that election without those charges. So he should be thanking them. Maybe he doesn't need to get revenge right now. I think that actually helped him.
Yeah.
So, all right, that's Dumb Bleep number one. That didn't take us too long. Oh, we're 19 minutes in. Holy crap. Okay. Number two.
No correlation.
No. Just randomly threw this one in there right afterwards. It's nothing to do with anything. From the Blaze.
Thanks, Glenn.
Thanks, Glenn. Man, we used to say that all the time back when we only read news stories.
Yeah.
Remember that? Mm-hmm. We just did news stories.
Yep.
I was like, this is weird. I feel like half of our show is just us reading someone else's news story. That's weird. The FBI had 274 plainclothes agents embedded in the January 6th crowds, a congressional source says.
Jesus Christ. Is that most of them?
It's like, when you look at pictures of the crowd, I'm like, I get it. There's probably like 1,000, 2,000 people there, something like that.
10
out
to
there.
20%
We're
of the
talking
crowd.
about like 10% of the crowd being FBI agents. And yeah, we'll go through the story. I did want to pull something up real quick though. Someone in the group posted this out, so I wanted to look at it. It's from Julie Kelly Thanks, Matt, for posting this. I wanted to make sure that this is not going to contradict too much anything about what we're about to read. Julie Kelly says, I'm getting around to new disclosures related to plainclothes FBI agents deployed to the Capitol on Jan 6. Is this recent? Yeah, very recent. We've known FBI assets were dispatched to the Capitol after the protests started. I would like to know much more about the conduct of each agent, who told them to go, and what they were told to do, but I want to caution everyone from lumping these FBI employees in with confidential human sources or informants who are not FBI employees and absolutely played a role before, on, and after January 6th. That said, the comments posted in the so-called after-action report demonstrate how so many FBI employees were angry about the politicization of the Bureau at the time. Doesn't look like anything that's going to be different in here. Let me get back to the slideshow. Okay. Just making sure. The FBI has acknowledged it had 274 plainclothes agents in the massive crowds on Jan 6, 2021, more than 4.5 years after questions were first raised about the level of FBI involvement that day. A senior congressional source says the number is not necessarily a surprise, since the FBI often embeds counter-surveillance personnel at large events. But given the FBI's, until now, steadfast refusal to disclose the level of its presence at the Capitol, the figure might still be viewed with skepticism in some quarters. Yeah, I would say so. The news comes in the wake of claims by the U.S. Department of Justice of Inspector General that the FBI had no undercover personnel in the Jan 6 crowds. Quote, we found no evidence in the materials we reviewed or the testimony we received showing or suggesting that the FBI had undercover employees in the various protest crowds or at the Capitol on January 6th. The DOJ OIG said.
Did you see the way that they said that? We found no evidence in the materials we reviewed.
Yes.
Or the testimony we received. That always gives them an out.
Yeah, well, and they might actually have the out. Like, their actual statement is, we didn't have the evidence of that. You know? Now, what I wonder is someone not giving you all the evidence?
Yeah, who lied to you?
You know? Is there actual evidence of these people
being
being
there?
there?
We pursue people who don't tell the truth with an iron fist.
That's some, depending on how one reads undercover agents versus plainclothes agents, both statements could be true. So I guess that's another thing. Someone saying plainclothes and the other one saying undercover. I feel like those are the same thing. I don't know. Plainclothes, undercover.
Like you don't, yeah.
Like you'd be wearing plainclothes if you're undercover.
Don't most FBI agents wear plain clothes?
Yeah, they just got that, little windbreaker on. Like rain jacket thing, you know? They probably
or they're
just take that off.
Yeah, they're just wearing John Wick suits.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when I think FBI agent, I'm like...
Yeah. You're thinking of Men in Black.
No, I also just think they wear suits. Like detectives, FBI agents, like they all wear suits, you know? This is your lowly cops.
Yeah.
Those are the ones in uniform.
I got you.
Just idiots.
The same report disclosed that 26 FBI confidential human sources were in the Jan 6 crowds, 4 of whom entered the Capitol. The DOJ inspector said only 3 of the FBI informants have been assigned by the Bureau to come to Washington and report on domestic terrorism subjects who were possibly attending the event. They just had a big showing there. They only had 3 that they wanted there. Of the 26 informants, 4 entered the Capitol during Jan 6 protests and rioting. OIG report said none were authorized by the FBI to break the law or enter a restricted area, nor was any CHS directed by the FBI to encourage others to commit illegal acts on January 6th. That's why Ray Epps went above and beyond the call. So that's really what we know right now, is that they're saying 274 plainclothes agents were there. And of course, this is going to fuel the speculation that it was in fact undercover FBI agents that were driving the crowd to go and do things. Now, that doesn't excuse anyone else who went along with it who were not FBI agents, first off. But I would like to know.
Yeah, it does.
I would like to know. I mean, just because you see this guy beating the cop with a flagpole doesn't mean that you need to beat a cop with your flagpole.
No, yeah, I get that, but yeah, when you have the government encouraging people to commit crimes, and then you're going to go arrest them for committing crime that you encourage them to do.
Oh yeah,
go F yourself.
Yeah,
no. I just hate the government. God,
that is the proper stance to have on the
This
matter.
kind of stuff just makes me mad. Just like the whole Gretchen, conspiracy
Gretchen
to
Whitmer
kidnap. It was literally the FBI's idea, and they found some people.
Yeah, I mean, people still use that to this day.
Yeah.
Like, oh, these right-wing extremists, we're going to kidnap the governor of Michigan. I'm like, literally, it was the FBI who did it.
Yeah, they literally created it. And they
Yes.
found some people to go along with it, and then they arrested them.
Yeah.
It's like,
pretty
hey, we have
crazy.
this great idea to do this. Are you in? No, man, I don't. That's not for me or my family. Come on, it'll be so much fun. Okay, I'll do it. You're arrested. Conspiracy.
Yeah. So when it comes to this, I think the answer here, aside from like disbanding the FBI or whatever, or just arresting all of them, something like that. The only thing the next step I would like to see is if those people were there undercover working for the FBI, I would like a list of all of their names, or I would like someone in an official capacity to have a list of all their names. I would like to go through the thousands of hours of video footage from that day. I'd like to find each one of them in the crowd, and I would like to track each one of their movements, each 274 of them, each one of their movements throughout the day. And if any of them did anything to break the law or to encourage people to break the law or to help, incite people or whatever the case may be, then I would like them to receive a very strongly worded letter in their file.
I mean, some people are now are in prison, aren't they? Or did they all get pardoned?
They all got out, yeah.
Okay. I mean, it says right here, undercover Metropolitan Police Department officers have acknowledged inciting the crowds by helping protesters climb over barriers, encouraging them to continue on to the Capitol, and applauding those committing vandalism. Most of the video footage shot by dozens of undercover MPD officers on January 6 has never been made public, despite attempts by Pope, one of the defendants, to dislodge the number through court motions in his Jan 6 criminal case. So let me get this straight. You are a defendant in a criminal case, and you're in the middle of discovery, and you're trying to get video evidence that is in possession of the government.
The video evidence exists.
It exists, and you're trying to get it in discovery for your defense case, which you are constitutionally entitled to, and they won't give it to you.
The government.
And then, but they're going to put you in prison, even though they won't give it to you. If this doesn't want to make you protest at the Capitol, I don't know what will.
I think we should go into the Capitol.
No.
Okay.
No, we shouldn't do that.
Okay.
Who do you work for?
Still one of the craziest videos ever is when that Ray Epps guy was saying that we were going to go into the Capitol, and they were like, what? No.
No.
Fed. That's one of my favorite videos.
It's very proud of those libertarians.
Yeah,
in
I
the
felt
crowd.
proud. Pride is the thing that I most feel
You could just,
when I see that.
like a rat, you can smell a Fed. I smell them.
Let me see. I have this video here of Thomas Massey questioning Merrick Garland. Where is 275 right there. And then there was another one here. Let me play this.
It's our constitutional duty to do oversight. Now, in that video, that was your answer to a question to me 2 years ago. When I said how many agents or assets of the government were present on January 5th and January 6th and agitating in the crowd to go into the Capitol, and how many went into the Capitol. Can you answer that now?
I don't know the answer to that question.
Oh, last time, you don't know how many there were, or there were none?
I don't know the answer to either of those questions. If there were any, I don't know how many. I don't know whether there are any.
I think you may have just perjured yourself that you don't know that there were any. You want to say that again, that you don't know that there were any?
I have no personal knowledge of this matter. I think what I said last time.
You've had 2 years to find out. And the day, by the way, that was in reference to Ray Epps. And yesterday you indicted him. Isn't that a wonderful coincidence? On a misdemeanor. Meanwhile, you're sending grandmas to prison. You're putting people away for 20 years for merely filming. Some people weren't even there yet. You've got the guy on video who's saying go into the Capitol. He's directing people to the Capitol before the speech ends. He's at the site of the first breach. You've got all the goods on him, 10 videos, and it's an indictment for a misdemeanor? The American public isn't buying it. I yield the balance of my time to Chairman Jordan.
Yeah, I am.
Okay.
I didn't realize Merrick Garland was so old.
He does look super old, yeah.
Goodness.
No, I didn't know that. Okay, well, that's Dumb Bleep number 2. What's that one called? FBI?
Yeah.
Jan 6. Fedsurrection. Is that what it is?
Yep.
All right, number 3.
This was a good discussion last week.
Well, this one's just going to be called Tylenol. Okay.
Not acetaminophen. You don't want to protect yourself.
I'm going brand name on this one.
Uh-oh.
The goods. Okay. We're paying a little bit extra for brand name. Okay, fine. We can go with acetaminophen. Sorry, Tylenol.
That's fine.
No,
Tylenol contains acetaminophen. That's what we're going to talk about it.
So we're just going to say Tylenol because it's hard to say.
Acetaminophen.
Yeah. So to kick off the conversation, of course, everyone knows that they had the press conference. Was that this week?
It was Monday.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. What a week it's been.
It's been a long week.
So on Monday, they come out and they say Tylenol potentially is a cause of autism. Trump basically says it causes autism and don't take it. RFK and Martin McCary and Bhattacharya, they're like, it's a potential cause.
It can increase the risk.
And you should only take it when you're in a specific circumstance, high fever and stuff like that. And so anyhow, I had to start off with this. Honestly, I think this is the dumbest one out of the Tylenol group. Autism doesn't need to be cured. That's a post out there by AAPD. We talked about this at length on Monday. So you can refer back to Monday's show and maybe even on the YouTube video right now. I'll put a link. You can go back to that show right there. If I don't do it, it's going to look stupid when I do that. So I got to remember to do it. Yeah,
this is the one thing we didn't talk about. I don't think we kind of alluded to it, but this is so dumb. This is what Jordan Peterson talks about. This is the eatable mother curse. Like you're perfect the way you are.
Yeah.
We need no improvements needed. It's fine that you're 24 and can't wipe your own ass. No big deal. That doesn't need to be cured. We just need more people accepting of that. And maybe the person wants to be able to wipe their own ass. I saw that on Big Daddy.
Yeah.
I wipe my own. Maybe that person wants to be able to do that. And maybe they aren't perfect the way they are. And there's a few things that they would want to be different. I understand their message in the essence of like, we shouldn't
shouldn't stigmatize people that have autism like it's their fault.
We shouldn't judge it or anything like that. I get what the underlying saying is, but then you're posting this right when they say that taking Tylenol during pregnancy can increase the risk of having a child with autism, and just be like, oh, it doesn't need to be cured. Let's have more autism. What's better than neurotypical people? Neurodivergence.
Yes.
We need more divergence. More people on the spectrum. And tell me you...
It's a gross thing.
Don't understand what it's like to have an autistic child without telling me you don't understand what it's like to have an autistic child.
And they definitely don't know what it's like to be autistic.
Exactly.
Okay, next we got a few things in here. Barack Obama, he's been getting back in the mix here lately. And I'll just read. Oh, I forgot to put it up on the screen. He said, we have people in power making broad claims around certain drugs and autism that have been continuously disproven if you only choose the studies that disproved it and not all the other ones that didn't disprove it. There's really no proof here. We're not doing like clinical studies, by the way. The degree to which those comments can undermine public health, do harm to women who are pregnant, create anxiety for parents who do have children who are autistic is violence against the truth. This is now violence. They're committing violent acts against people. Just so you guys know. Okay, I'm going to skip over Obama. And then we got the funny thing here. Turns out Tylenol, they used to run an X account. At the time they were running their account, it was called Twitter. When I first saw it, I was like, oh, this is probably fake. But no, it was actually their account. Okay, so there are a couple posts in there as it pertains to pregnant people, mothers. One of them from 2016 says, if you're pregnant and nursing, seek the advice of your healthcare professional before using Tylenol or any other medication. And another one here from 2017, which says, we actually don't recommend using any of our products while pregnant. thank you for taking the time to voice your concerns today. That was in response to someone who, we don't know, the post had been deleted, so we don't know exactly what the post was. So we don't actually recommend using any of our products while pregnant. Now that is like legal speak for talk to your doctor, so if something happens, it's not our fault.
Yeah. In fact, no drug manufacturer recommends you take their drug.
Like the doctor is supposed to recommend
exactly.
They're not doctors.
The one with the malpractice insurance.
Yes.
He's the one who should recommend you take this under his practice.
Yeah, they did release
her practice. Women are doctors now too.
Yeah, it's crazy times. Tylenol released a statement. Here's the first part of that statement. They say, "We stand with science, and we stand with you." What is this?
Fauci?
This is 2021. This is weird. For generations, families have trusted Tylenol when it matters most. Tylenol is one of the most studied medications in history and is safe when used as directed by expecting mothers, infants, and children. The facts remain unchanged. Over a decade of rigorous research endorsed by leading medical professionals confirmed there is no credible evidence linking acetaminophen to autism. Just so you know, they haven't done clinical studies on this. Well, they can't because it would be considered, what's the word for that? Anyway.
Inhumane?
Yeah, something like that. It's not the specific word. I can't think of the word right now.
Unethical?
Unethical, yes.
That's from Costco. I'm
All
giving them a shout out.
Unethical, thank you.
Thanks, Costco.
They don't, because if they're essentially checking for a harm for something, they're not going to be like, well, let's maybe harm this group of people.
Yeah.
They're just not going to, they don't do that. And so they're like, we'll put it out there in the market and people can take it. We'll do observational studies and we'll say, did you take it? And then they'll say, well, anything bad happened afterwards? And they're like, okay, cool. Like, that's it. It's not like a normal study, just so you all know. I think it's interesting that I see people post this. It's safe when used as directed by expecting mothers, infants, and children. Safe when used as directed. And one of the things that's really getting missed here is that there's a difference in people, like moms going to their doctors when they get a fever or a sickness or something like that. The doctor writes them a prescription. Here's the specific amount, the dosage amount that you should take and how many days you should take it for this thing.
How many times a day?
Yeah, and you
for
take
how
it,
long?
You take it
and
as
how
directed.
you're supposed to take it.
What they are not recommending anywhere is that you can just take Tylenol willy-nilly anytime you want. Nothing that bad's ever going to happen. Like, that's not the argument that even Tylenol is making. They're CYA, and they're saying take it as directed by your doctor, essentially. And in fact, like that study, the big Swedish study that people keep bringing up, which I haven't heard debunked well enough yet. We might have to do it again. The big Swedish study, when they say, "Oh, we looked at people who took Tylenol, we didn't see a difference in the numbers." Well, the people they looked at who took Tylenol were only people who took it prescribed by a doctor, who had gone to a healthcare facility, got prescribed by a doctor, and then they talked to those people.
And they likely followed those directions.
Yeah, or closer. And what they didn't have in that study are all of the other people who took it anytime they wanted to. And so in the two groups, like, yes, I took Tylenol, and no, I didn't take Tylenol, mixed in both of those groups are a bunch of people who took Tylenol, meaning because they're only counting the people who got prescribed by a doctor. And then the other group, a bunch of those people could have had it too, could have taken it as well over the counter. They didn't count that, meaning I don't see how you use that study for anything, in my opinion.
It's very strange.
In that study, they only found that 7% of expecting mothers took Tylenol. The actual number in the world is anywhere between 50 and 80% of expecting mothers take Tylenol. Only 7% in the study took it. That should tell you something. A whole bunch of the other people in those groups took Tylenol. And they're not
didn't
counted.
have to say it.
Yeah, they're not counted. Okay. Anyway, safe when taken as directed by your doctor, which leads us to pregnant girls on TikTok
Real dumb.
downing Tylenol. So let's get to...
In fact, I did see a report allegedly that someone might be on life
this one right here. Yeah. So I had it in here and then I took it out and I just now realize it's still in here. There is a story.
I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, there is a story of someone overdosing on Tylenol doing one of these proving Trump wrong on Tylenol. Now, the story stems from a nurse, a person who is an alleged nurse on X. So it's an account of someone who says they are a nurse on X, saying that she got a call about someone else who had an overdose of Tylenol by doing one of these things. And like, that's the only source you have on the whole thing. Someone on X who says they're a nurse, who says that they heard from someone else that there was someone who did this challenge and that they were on a ventilator.
So could be true, could be.
Which is why we're
totally
not
made
going to
up.
talk about it.
Yeah.
As you guys can tell, we're not going to talk about it. But that's not stopping this lady. Here we go.
About to take Tylenol for my headache while pregnant because I don't take my medical advice from a man who doesn't have a degree in science, healthcare, or medicine, and who had a parasitic brain infection and was addicted to heroin for 14 years. Yeah, I'll trust my doctors who have their degree.
God, gotta remember that freaking TikTok thing
About
there
to
at
take
the end.
Tylenol for my headache while pregnant because I don't take my...
All right.
Good job, Natalie.
All right, that's great. That's great. So not going to take advice. Now, by the way, there's like dozens of observational studies saying that there is a slight link between Tylenol and acetaminophen and autism or ADHD. And then there's like one big study that everyone's going with. That's the study we were just talking about. I'm sure there's others as well. But like all that RFK and McCary and Bhattacharya probably don't count Trump in that group because I'm not sure he knew what acetaminophen was before they started the press conference. But the other people, they're just telling you that they reviewed all these studies and that there does seem to be a link. But like they didn't conduct the studies. He wasn't like, oh, me and my brainworm are going to go check and see if people are autistic now that their moms took Tylenol. That's not what happened. You know, they're looking at things that other medical professionals did.
Me and my brainworm. Does he
Saying,
have a
that's
name?
not what happened. Carl. I don't know. Carl's popping up in my mind. I don't
I
know.
mean, my brain. Me and my brainworm. I can't do it. I can't even do it. Gosh dang it.
Here we go. Here's this one. She is in fact pregnant.
28 weeks pregnant. You know what I'm going to take? Some Tylenol, acetaminophen. It's going to work like a charm, and my baby won't have autism.
It is not funny, but I do sort of want to follow up on some of these people after
see if their child
like
does
in a
have
few
autism.
years. I
Yes.
kind of want to know, honestly. And it's I'm not even saying it's
I hope
directly.
they have the same TikTok accounts. And then they're going to be.
It's all about being a mother of an autistic
Yeah,
child.
and they're going to be a victim. You know? Oh, there's more? Here we go.
Oh, there's more, yeah. We don't really need the sound here, but anyway. And she's taking Tylenol and she's clearly pregnant. So there we go. We got that. I think there might even be another one. Okay, yeah, here we go. Just people being strong and courageous, you know? Just going against the government. Said, here's me, a pregnant Here's is me, a pregnant woman taking Tylenol because I believe in science and not someone who has no medical background.
By the way, this is the same group of people that would just murder their child in utero anyway.
We don't even know these children are coming to term.
Do they even? they don't really care what happens.
Yeah.
You know, and likely a lot of them, or a lot, I say a lot, likely some of them, if they knew their child had autism, would just give them up for adoption anyway. Because it's about them. They make it all about themselves.
And you know what's...
It's the narcissistic, like ego, prideful person.
There's also there's a gross side of this, which is like, okay, you're going to go against what the president's saying. Okay, I commend you as a libertarian going against that. But there are studies not conducted by RFK and his brainworm showing that there is potentially at least a correlation between Tylenol and autism. And so to just go take it, especially maybe you don't even need, you're pregnant, you probably need it all the time, honestly. To just go take it and know that there could potentially be that risk, but not care. So you can make a TikTok video You know,
what's weird is they say, I believe in science. Okay. We covered this, but you have to look at the science. Okay. One of the things that scientists believe causes damage, neurological damage, that displays itself as neurodivergence, or what we would consider people on the autism spectrum. Okay. One of the things that they know neurochemically that leads to these types of neurodivergence is that the body, people with a gene mutation and potentially other things, I cover myself there. We don't know for sure if it's just that gene mutation or the parents that have that gene mutation. They have trouble breaking down some different biochemicals like folate and other things that are vital in a synthesis mechanism in the brain to help break down or to have enzymes to help break down things in a way that doesn't produce toxicity. We know from the science that Tylenol reduces glutathione. I'm not a biochemist by any means, but I know how to read words. But anyway, it reduces the ability to expel those toxins from the brain. We know that Tylenol does this specific thing. Among all the other things that it does, we know chemically, neurobiochemically, that it does that thing. And that thing, by reducing the glutathione levels, it affects the ability to break down folate. It affects the ability to break down glutamate, all sorts of other things, which disrupts the extremely complex, biochemistry in the brain. There's lots of research on this, lots of science on this, and then that could increase the risk that you would have neurological damage that would lead to neurodivergent behaviors. That's what the science says. It doesn't mean Tylenol causes it, but it means that if you take a lot of Tylenol, or the more you take Tylenol, it can increase the chance that your fetus has trouble or ends up with what could be permanent, maybe not permanent, because there are supplements and things you can take to help break down certain things that could increase the ability to transmit over the neurotransmitters what needs to be transmitted. So that's basically what the science says. And then you have these people saying, oh, I don't trust science from somebody who doesn't have a medical degree. But that's not what he's saying. Go look at the science so you can trust the science.
He's saying to look at the science.
Yes.
Yeah, that there is science and you should look at it.
It's baffling to me. It's like insane.
Yeah, these people probably are just a little bit insane. They're at least narcissists. We know that. Okay, we are 50 minutes in and we just made it through number 3.
So you're right.
I said 30 minutes. Yeah. So we'll probably keep the 2 reserves out of it.
Let's go. Number 4.
This happened at TSU, and it looks really dumb. And there's a guy going around doing campus tours, like Charlie Kirk kind of proved me wrong sort of thing. This TSU.
Oh, is this right here?
Here. Yeah.
Right here in Nashville.
Guy's name is Cam Higbee, which I can't help. But probably from now on, we're going to call him Clayton Bigsby.
It's the first thing I thought of when you said his name.
I'm just going to have to say Clayton Bigsby. So Clayton Bigsby is at this, it's a black college here in Nashville, but whatever. It's an HBCU. It's a technical term.
Yeah.
So here's how it starts.
Like they don't exclude whites from attending.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a literal white person right there. So I don't mean that they're segregated legally. It's not what I mean. Here is how it started. So just people asking questions, they're debating stuff.
Nothing. So you feel like everybody is equal.
Yeah. I mean, everybody's equal in their rights, but not everybody's obviously equal in their, what they have. Like, I grew up in a double wide trailer. He grew up in Boca Raton. So, You know, we didn't grow up equal. We're both white. I mean, he's a Jew, so that's probably why he grew up in Boca Raton. But so we're not equal in what we possess as we start always, but we are equal in what we're allowed to do.
So there's two guys here in MAGA hats, which is all, you know, very honestly, it's violent. Sitting there in chairs,
that right there,
like asking people to voluntarily come up to you and debate you on something or ask you questions or something like that, you know. And so, you know, when you go and commit a violent act on a college campus, you know, of course, people are going to respond.
You called the East primitive for what? We created y'all knowledge. We created y'all science. We created y'all math. Y'all didn't do shit besides steal. Y'all didn't do anything to your... You guys didn't make shit. You guys touch children. You guys fuck.
Showing them the door.
We walking them to the door, y'all. I don't even know how they got on campus. We gonna figure that out, but I don't know. They need to get like a trespass, like penalty or something, because
it's a public university. What?
Another angle here.
What are your feelings when you watch this? How do you feel inside, Nate? Your face is turning a little red, I think. Well, describe your feelings. Anger?
There's anger, yeah.
Frustration?
There's frustration,
Yeah.
I have frustration.
What else?
It feels like home to me, honestly. Hold on, here's some more.
Very safe, very black, and very tired of this.
All we did was set up a table.
Honestly, you know, props to him. There was a good chance he would have got shanked if he would have stayed there any longer. And so, you know, he did a good job. What are you thinking, Charlie? Don't put this on me to have a balanced and unemotional response.
I asked you first.
What are people in the group thinking? Let's go to them first. Oh, God, the first gift.
Take a stance, Nate.
This is common amongst colleges. They don't want to hear people espousing views that they don't like. And that's a very unfortunate situation. Some people might jump to specific characteristics of people, but this can happen anywhere. I have seen enough crazy white people on college campuses as well. And so, you know... Oh my God. Okay, let's not go to the group. Let's go away from the group.
This makes me very frustrated because it makes me feel like there might not be any hope when you see like an example like this, you know, where you can't have conversations with people. This is mob rule, by the way. This is mob rule. This is forcing people to do certain things, showing them the door, shouting them down. Like, it's like, it's like adults versus children.
Yeah.
That's what it looks like to me. And you have a group of people who clearly don't know how to control their emotions and have a civil conversation. So they resort to toddler tactics, except they're adults now, and they group together and form these adult toddler groups and try to force you to shut up.
Well, they validate each other's toddler behavior also.
Yeah, and they think it's funny.
Mm-hmm.
They're laughing.
Beating on the hood of his truck.
Yep. Yeah, kudos. I mean, I try to think like, what would I do in this situation? I would do my best not to leave. I would try not to, but whatever.
So it turns out, statement from TSU, and I don't know how they normally handle stuff like this. And I don't know, how this is technically classified, but they said today a group of individuals unaffiliated with Tennessee State University appeared on campus without prior notice. In accordance with university policy, any demonstration or protest activity requires advance approval and permitting. It didn't seem like a demonstration or protest. They were set up talking to people. I don't know what I would assume that you would need to get like approval from the college to set up a table and microphones and talk. I don't know. I've never that'd be a question for some TPUSA people. Like, do you always have to get approval from the college to set up? Sure, be nice to have the approval, so you technically have the right to be there.
Yeah.
At that time. But apparently they did. So campus police and staff responded promptly, and the individuals were escorted from university grounds without incident. At all times, TSU students conducted themselves in a professional and respectful manner.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I'm surprised I didn't say mostly.
Yeah.
In a mostly. It sounds like...
Should we just move on?
I don't know if I could say this. I can say it. I just, like, when I hear it, as I'm listening, it sounds like the Discovery Channel.
You did it. You did it. But it's not. It's a college campus.
It's a college campus.
Okay.
But that's what I like. I keep picturing, like, the Discovery Channel's on.
Yeah. Honestly, this sounds a little crazier than that.
That's all I got to say about that.
Let's go. Let's get out of here. Let's go. We have to go.
Was that number 4?
That was number 4.
Here's number 5.
We got 4 more. We're halfway through the dumbs, but those were the toughest ones to get through. Number 5, post from Hillary Clinton. This is in response to Jimmy Kimmel coming back, I reckon. Actually, he was not coming back at this point. Let's see. Hillary Clinton says, in America, we defend free speech in terrible times. We defend free speech even when it's offensive. We defend free speech.
We do?
Okay. We'll get there. Scott Wiener says it's time to break Sinclair up. That's the company that owns a bunch of TV stations. It's time to break Sinclair up. Corporate media consolidation doesn't jibe with democracy. And although Sinclair isn't a fan of democracy, most people are. I guess
so that's
Sinclair is not.
Is that a different threat from a different body of government?
Yes. Yes, it is. No, yes, it is.
The FCC is like, if you don't do this, we're going to do this. And the old Scotty Wiener's like, well, if you don't do this, we're going to do this.
And this is how they get you.
You can't win when you have 2 fascist sides fighting each other. What are you going to do?
One wants to break you up. The other one wants to break you up. I don't know what, they're always under this threat all the time. So here, yeah, we got that right there. I want to bring in the Lincoln Project, of course. They said, we're gonna keep making fun of Trump, while comedy is still legal, at least. And anytime the Lincoln Project starts posting about free speech, you need to punch them right in the face with stuff that they don't know about Abraham Lincoln. Okay? Yeah. It's their fault. It's their fault for naming their organization the Lincoln Project, okay? Who, from all historical accounts I come up with here, well, it had an executive order, arrest and imprisonment of irresponsible newspaper reporters and editors. Okay. Now, of course, in his defense, it was only the irresponsible ones.
Yeah.
The ones that he didn't like.
Exactly.
And
they were publishing wickedly and traitorously printed materials.
Mm-hmm. Like they didn't want to have the Civil War. And Lincoln did. Mm-hmm. That kind of thing. And so what ends up really happening, 300 newspapers are shut down, and there's differing accounts on the amount of people, but it's safe to say that Lincoln had in the thousands of people arrested, journalists, reporters, and just protesters, stuff like that, because of things they were saying. Okay? And so if you want to be this person who's going after authoritarians that you think are going after free speech, don't name your thing the Lincoln Project. Just don't do that, okay? You shouldn't do that. It's not something you should do.
I concur.
This comes as we are finding out, of course, what is the hypocrisy here from people like Hillary Clinton and Weiner and all the other Democrats.
Kamala Harris.
Kamala, Obama, all these people who were freaking out. This week, we got the news of Google admitting censorship under the Biden administration. Okay. Let's see here. Today, thanks to the oversight of Chairman Jim Jordan, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off YouTube due to political speech violations on topics such as COVID-19 and elections an opportunity to return to the platform. Google also admitted the following to the House Judiciary Committee. The Biden administration pressured Google to censor Americans and remove content that did not violate YouTube's policies. The Biden administration censorship pressure was unacceptable and wrong. Number 3, public debate should never come at the expense of relying authorities. Number 4, the company will never use third-party fact checkers. Yes, that's good. And number 5, Europe's censorship laws target American companies and threaten American speech, so they agree on that as well. So essentially, we found out the Biden administration was going not just to, which we already knew this, like everyone already knew this, okay? Which is why all this stuff is so hypocritical. But they were going to Twitter and to Facebook and every other social media platform and to YouTube and everyone else and not making them, but they would say stuff like what Weiner just said. When you had all these congressional hearings about breaking up Facebook, breaking up Meta, breaking up Google, like they threaten
Section 230.
Yeah, they'll threaten to take apart your company. They'll threaten to take away your ability to make money with your company. They'll do all that stuff. And then they'll say, we really want you to do this. And there's always that background threat of the thing that they've been telling you they want to do if you're not going to listen to them. And the Biden administration was doing this, and no one on the left, no one, it's an absolute thing. Not these establishment Democrat Party shill
Almost
people.
No one on the left. You could say that.
Almost no one on the left cared about it. And so
in fact, many celebrated it. Mm-hmm. Many celebrated, and many use that whole report function. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. If they see a video they don't like or they leave a bad review. I remember one time we had someone we went to high school with who just started leaving bad reviews on Facebook and like places we were because they didn't like what we stood for.
Yeah.
They'll just go that route.
Mm-hmm.
They can't have an argument in the realm of ideas, and so they'll just attack you.
And they'll try to keep other people from seeing you.
They'll try to, exactly. They'll try to keep your voice from being heard. And God, it's so frustrating.
Yeah.
We're still dealing, personally, this is personal for us because we're still dealing with the ramifications of these policies. And the hypocrisy is astounding completely. And then you have the same thing that's happening with the Trump administration with this as you do for the political opponents and going after the previous administration, because the left really opened up Pandora's box. And of course, governments have been doing this for a long time, but they really went hard. So much so that they almost created the Department of Misinformation till that got shut down.
It's the Disinformation Governance Board.
Sorry, Disinformation Governance, whatever.
Whatever you want to call it. The DGB.
Okay. And
I remember she was an old DGB agent from back in the day.
So now you have the reverse happening because you have Republicans that just want to get Democrats back, and Trump's that guy. Like, okay, you punch me, I'm going to punch you harder.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so now we're going to cancel Jimmy Kimmel. We're going to put pressure we're going to try to go after all the things they did to us. And it's just a stupid game. It's a dumb game. I hate this game.
Yeah.
I hate the game.
This is
I don't want to play.
The cycle is going to keep going. It's fun.
So let me be me.
YouTube, this story, by the way, about YouTube, the reason that the gaslighting works, the reason they're able to sit up there on their supposed moral high horse talking to people, is that people just live in their own little echo chambers. They live in their own realities. And I use this thing called, this is not an advertisement, I use this thing called Straight Arrow News, similar to like Ground News. I don't know if it's like very similar to the point I'm like, did they buy Ground News? I don't know. But it's really good. And they do this thing called Media Miss. And so the story about the YouTube bannings that happened, only 7% of the coverage of that story was from left-leaning media.
Which means they don't see it.
They just don't see it. Like, that's it.
They have no idea.
So that's how that happens. And then, by the way, YouTube shut down the newly created channels of Nick Fuentes and Alex Jones. That happened yesterday. So, yeah, what happened here? Essentially, they've been shut down. And if you had if you're like a terminated person, like they don't just terminate your channel. It's you. The person is banned.
Can't create another one.
You can't create a new one because it's not the channel. It's the guy or girl. Maybe this is the case with girls too. And so essentially they said, well, we're going to do a pilot program where we start to allow individuals to speak on our platform, but it's not up and going yet. Geez, we just made this announcement this week, guys. Calm down.
It'll be a limited pilot program to start.
Yeah.
We're still going to decide who we allow to create channels and not. So.
Okay, I'm going to go to a couple dumbs that came from the group real quick. One is Israel. They're both Israel-Gaza related, but one is this like Hamas propaganda type stuff. And listen, Israel's doing a ton of terrible stuff over there in Gaza. All right, a lot of really bad stuff. But you know what doesn't help? Like weird propaganda videos, and I just can't figure it out. Okay. This is allegedly a child that was shot in the head by a sniper. All right. You're okay because there's nothing graphic about the video, just so you know. She was targeted, specifically shot in the head by a sniper, by an Israeli. Okay. But the bullet, it didn't go into her head. It's a magic bullet. Okay.
Or
just didn't work.
Head.
Magic head. Her mom always said she was hard-headed.
And now she has proof.
And this person says, an Israeli sniper sees a little girl in his sights. What does it do? It takes the shot with glee. Israel is evil. The community notes all point out the fact that this is not how a human head typically responds to a bullet. It's not the way it normally goes.
Going 3,000 feet per second.
Unless the person took the shot. Like maybe they're going for like longest sniper award and it's from like 4 miles away or something like that.
Did he throw the bullet at her?
No, I've got a theory here. I know what happened. Didn't have a level on his gun. Okay. And so someone just fired the gun up in the air willy-nilly like it wasn't going to come back down. Now, as we have proven scientifically here on this show from my own observational studies, if you fire a bullet directly up in the air, that's fine. I mean, straight. Fully aligned straight up in the air, that's fine.
Well, you got to calculate the Coriolis of the Earth and the atmosphere.
Well, is going to move a little bit.
And it spins.
Yeah. It's a little bit, yeah.
So
it's not going to come straight back down to the same spot.
No.
That's not what I'm saying. Okay, but if you do it at an angle, it's going to maintain that arc. It's going to come back down. That's kind of what I think happened here, honestly. I don't know.
What even is this? I mean, did they just place it in her hair?
I'm
like,
not
what's
sure.
The story?
Yeah, so if you're just listening right now, it's a little girl in a bed, and there's just a...
Pull the video up and pause it when they do the close-up. What does it look like? Is this just makeup? Like, what is that?
Do we got any gun experts in the group right now that can tell us whether or not this even looks like? I mean, why is it all nice and shiny brass on the outside too? I don't know. It looks kind of...
Yeah, I can't tell whether that actually looks like a projectile or not. It's really tough to see, and it does look like... I mean, it looks like their skin is around it. I don't know. No blood. That's interesting. I mean, if I scratch my head too hard, there's blood. You get like my cat walks across my head at night. Usually there's blood there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they glued it, makeup. I don't know. It definitely looks unfired. That's for sure. There's no gunpowder.
So
this is very weird.
And so the real part of this dumb, and it goes along with the second thing too. There are things that just don't help your cause. Okay. And doing stuff like this, like it is I never watched them or anything, but there's a lot of videos of kids that have been killed, been shot, stuff like that, blown up, all sorts of stuff. And we've all ran across a whole bunch of them, and
there's plenty of real stuff.
Got thousands of examples. Thousands of examples out there. Okay. But when you toss out a stupid propaganda video, it makes me think you're actually trying to hurt that side of the argument. And actually, my new conspiracy is that actually Israel made this video because it was so obviously fake. And so they're trying to kill that argument. So the next one's from the other side here. It's called Things That Don't Help. That's really the dumb here. Okay, so now this is Mike Huckabee, and he's talking to all these, I believe it was state legislators that went over to Israel. A ton of them. I think that's who it was. I think that's what's happening right now. Anyway, he says some dumb stuff. Here we go.
And you may be surprised to know just how many Americans live in Israel. Let me give you the number. Take this back home to folks who say, why do we care about Israel? I'll tell you why. Because there are 700,000 Americans who live in Israel. 700,000. I'm speaking to a room full of politicians. You guys will understand that's a full congressional district. Every time we have members of Congress come over here, I always say to them, guys, welcome to the 436th congressional district of the United States.
No.
Wow, that's dumb.
That's really dumb. This doesn't help. People are concerned that Israel has too much influence over our politics, stuff like that. Describing Israel as another congressional district because so many Americans, I guess, live there. I don't care. I don't care that you guys are there. Some bad, like that's your problem. You're living in that country, and you've chosen to live under that country and their rules and their money and their situation that they're in. It doesn't mean that any of my tax money needs to go help someone who chose to go live in another country at all.
We're not obligated.
Yes, and so once again,
to protect our congressional district overseas.
Yes, because that's not a thing that exists. So once again, that's just called Things That Don't Help. Another thing that's not good is Trump is still pushing on this whole thing that we're going to get Bagram Air Base back from Afghanistan. Okay, and he's going hard on this thing right now. He said if Afghanistan doesn't give Bagram Air Base back to those that built it, the United States of America...
on whose land?
Bad things are going to happen. 3 exclamation points. President DJT.
What?
Okay.
A childish way of.
So here's a clip of him talking about this.
Look, if you don't do this, bad things are going to happen. I'm just telling you.
Don't make me count to 3.
They just went through the Afghanistan total disaster for no reason whatsoever. We're going to leave Afghanistan, but we're going to leave it with strength and dignity. And we're going to keep Bagram, the big air base, that one of the biggest air bases in the world. We gave it to them for nothing. We're trying to get it back, by the way. Okay, that could be a little breaking news. We're trying to get it back because they need things from us. We want that base back. But one of the reasons we want the base is, as you know, it's an hour away from where China makes its nuclear weapons. So a lot of things are happening.
Oh, he said why they want it back. Yeah.
China.
It's an hour away from where China makes their nuclear weapons.
So we now need to pick a new fight with the Taliban in order to help ourselves pick another fight with China. Because we don't have any air base. Like that one's within an hour. And so we must be there. We must be in harm's way of all those groups, terrorist groups.
We need a strategic outpost.
Yes, has to be. And what it actually is it's bait on a line. That's what those troops are out there. Sorry, I don't mean any disrespect to you guys that are out there. But you're out there so we can have a pretense to send in more troops to go to war with you. And so when someone attacks Bagram after they put people back there, then we can say that we got to go protect our interests and we got to go back over there. And this is so freaking disappointing. Like, he does the thing, gets us out of Afghanistan. We're like, yeah, that's great. The good thing was that we were getting out of Afghanistan. And there were conditions on it. There were conditions on us fully leaving that the Taliban was supposed to hold up to, and they did not hold up to it. They didn't even hold up to it before we did the withdrawal. And so maybe Trump could say, yeah, well, I wasn't actually going to do it because they didn't hold up to all the conditions that were in the treaty. Whatever. The good thing was that we were leaving there. We never said, yeah, if the Taliban doesn't hold up to this, then we're going to stay there because China is an hour away from there. And so we have to stay there. So it was fine that it was an hour away from where China makes their nukes as long as the Taliban held up their end of the deal on their internal politics in Afghanistan.
No,
that was fine.
No, they always wanted it.
Yes.
That's dumb.
You confirm?
Confirm. Yeah,
Dumb.
That's
okay.
dumb.
Just making sure. And let's end up with Race Grifters Part 2. We talked last week about Demartravion Reed, or Trey Reed, as they call him. He was a black guy that was found hanging at a college campus.
Hanging from a tree.
It appeared to be a suicide. There were no indications that there was any foul play. There was no bruising, broken bones, no nothing like that. He was found hanging from a tree on a college campus. This was triggering to anyone who has seen a movie about that happening in the past. And so the autopsy came back, and it turns out it was a suicide. He hung himself.
Yeah.
Okay. But that is not stopping people from now doing a second autopsy to make sure that the first one was correct. And the person who was funding that is Colin Kaepernick. Colin Kaepernick is funding the autopsy. He's stepping in to cover the cost of a second independent autopsy for Demartravion Reed.
Which is fine.
Yeah, sure.
Do
it. Do that. The black student found hanging from a tree on a college campus. This after officials announced this week his death was ruled a suicide. Civil rights attorney Ben Crump, who was representing the Reed family, released a statement on Friday revealing CAP's Know Your Rights Camp Autopsy Initiative will fund a separate autopsy as the family challenges the Mississippi State Medical Examiners.
And look, the government could be lying. It's possible. I don't trust the government.
Sure, they could be. Yeah. Reed's body was found hanging from a tree on the Delta State University campus on Monday. And they were questioned. The thing is, like, yeah, this is all fine. But we all know why they're doing this.
Of course.
Like, they want this to be a thing. And by they, I mean Ben Crump and Colin Kaepernick and whoever else is pushing this right now.
Yeah, they want to say, see?
Yeah.
Yeah. Even though Corey Zukatis, 36-year-old guy, was also found dead hanging from a tree on the same day.
Yeah.
100 miles away.
Now, you know what would be crazy is if the autopsy was like, yeah, this is racially motivated.
No, what would be crazy is if the autopsy shows that this was actually a homicide, not a suicide.
Yeah.
And then we're going to look for the lynching killer. But not just the black people.
It was actually this guy.
He's targeting a white guy, too.
Yeah, it was actually this guy. He had just got done hanging this dude, and he went back and killed himself on that college campus. Now, that'd be a crazy twist to the story. But what's actually happening right now...
Then they would just stop talking about it. They wouldn't even release that information.
Never see anything about it again after that. What's actually happening right now, I don't know if you remember Trump's first term. There was a bit of a race thing that happened in that first term. Did nothing during Biden's term, which is fine. We had perfect race relations during that time. That was totally fine. Now we got this going on again. And in my opinion, people are just wanting to make this an issue. No one has talked about the downtrodden, terrible situation of some people of color. And we need to get this going again. Got to get BLM going again. That fundraising machine has really slacked off. Got to get that going. Need to get like a 7th house for the person that's running it, you know? And
or 7th floor.
Yeah, that's what's happening right now. And that's it. They just want to make this into a thing, and there's no indication that it's a thing.
Yeah. I like what Copperhead said here. Cultural communists want this.
Yeah, the race Marxists.
They want it. The race Marxists, they want it to be true.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's actually kind of gross about that. It's like they want lynchings to still be
Wouldn't
a thing.
you want it to not be true?
I know.
Well, isn't that the world that you're saying you want to go towards? As one where this is not happening? It's like they don't want it to not be happening. The last actual confirmed lynching, like a racially motivated hanging of a black person, according to my resources, I just talked to some resources beforehand, happened in 1981. And that's the last actual confirmed, like, racially motivated lynching, hanging,
which is Ronald Reagan's
fault. Yeah. That was the problem then. Now it could, not saying that my resources might not be accurate on that, but that was actually the KKK who did that one. Like in 1981. Still doing stuff. How about that? It's just not so much not that much of a thing anymore, and I think they want it to be, and that is sad.
It's been 44 years.
Yeah. That's a bit. It's a good, it's a good chunk of time right there. All right, let's get through the voting. Everyone go vote, and I will tell you what the options are as soon as I pull up something that shows me what the options are. Here we go. Number 1 is the Comey situation. All the hypocritical stuff said around there. Number 2, 274 FBI agents on Jan 6. Number 3, Tylenol, many things. Like autism doesn't need to be cured, and like the pregnant woman just downing Tylenol. Number 4, that TSU campus thing with Clayton Bigsby. Number 5, Democrats on free speech. Number 6, the Israel-Gaza thing. Number 7, Bagram. And number 8, race grifters part 2.
Wow, tight race.
Yeah.
Tied right now between the FBI and Tylenol.
Yeah, so let's pull the votes from the others.
It's tough to have both of those in the same week.
It's very tough. Which one? Oh, you know what I like? Last time we made our case for the one we thought was the dumbest.
Yeah.
Which one would you go for?
Well, let's by ranked choice voting now. So the folks who voted for TSU and Democrats for free speech, you've got to change your votes.
Yep, you got to go to either Tylenol or FBI
and watch them split.
Still split. And which one would you say is the dumbest?
Ranked choice voting. I mean, the one that makes me the angriest is the FBI one, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
It's it makes me angry because it's the institution I like the least, government, allowed to commit crimes and then encourage other people to commit crimes and then put them in prison for 20 years.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just absolutely disgusting. And then not only that, you use that entire conspiracy to like go after certain groups of people. You use it to
paint
create
a narrative.
New laws, paint a narrative, talk about domestic terrorists, further divide the country. It's like, and it's just made up. It's a game. It's a game. They're playing with people's lives. It's gross.
Yep. It's
the Tylenol one is dumb. Don't get me wrong. It's real dumb.
It's very dumb.
People are dumb. They're just, it's so weird. They trust the science, but they don't actually just like look at what the science is. So
we have like a super frustrating one and then like just a super dumb one.
Yeah.
Too. But they're both dumb.
Looks like the FBI is going to win.
Yeah, I think FBI is going to win. I think we can call the votes.
All right, y'all. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. Do all the things Nate said to do previously, which is sign up so that you can vote. Welcome to some of the new members that have joined up. We appreciate you joining. JoinGML.com. Or you can go to godhatesfeds.com, especially after this Jan 6 episode. I mean,
yeah.
If you don't hit the feds by now, you should, because they're coming after you.
Yep.
So godhatesfeds.com. Get some merchandise. Click on the link there that says join GML, and that will take you to the Fed Haters Club Discord, where you can participate with the live show and vote for Dumb Bleep of the Week. Visit the links in the show notes to support the sponsors that support this show. Leave us a rating and review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And if you do all of those things, we'll be back again on Monday. Hope you have a good day and a good morning, Liberty.